want to bring in Rick Newman, who covers politics here at Yahoo Finance as well, because what we're witnessing is absolutely historic. Before we go to Rick, we did hear Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell during the peaceful beginnings of the process to certify the Electoral College count warn about the dangers of the protests that were going to be taking place by Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley and others. And here's what Mitch McConnell said. Then we're going to have Rick respond to this.
If this election were overturned by mere allegations from the losing side, our democracy would enter a death spiral. We'd never see the whole nation accept an election again.
Rick, it sounds like it might have been too little too late.
Yeah, and something like an hour later, McConnell and all the rest of the senators had to vacate the Senate as these protesters got inside Capitol Hill. So McConnell, when he gave that speech, the immediate aftermath was, well, it might seem like too little too late, but at least Mitch McConnell is finally standing up for democracy. And it's pretty ironic that democracy seems to be in flight from Capitol Hill at the moment. Bigger context here, Adam. I mean, they are going to restore order on Capitol Hill. We are going to get through the certification of this vote that declares Joe Biden the president. Joe Biden is going to take office on January 20, and there's not going to be a coup, which is why I think markets are more or less taking this in stride right now. But this is Trumpism gone full flower, and Trumpism has now invaded Capitol Hill. And legislators are going to have some answering to do. I mean, you could argue that Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley, two of the senators who say they are basically supporting the efforts to overturn the election, you could argue that they incited this because obviously this crowd of protesters that assembled in D.C. did start to heading to the Capitol right afterward to do this very thing. So democracy is messy. It's probably never been about as messy as it is right now, but I think we are going to have democracy when we wake up tomorrow.
Rick, that's encouraging there, what you just said as your last sentence. But I'm curious just what message you think this sends to Americans and to not only Americans, but to people around the world. What we're seeing play out on Capitol Hill right now here in Washington, D.C., in the U.S. is not something that I don't think any of us would have expected that we were to ever see play out in our country.
Well, when was the last time somebody seized the U.S. Capitol? I'm not that much of an expert on history, but I've seen some people saying
1812.
Not since 1814 when the British invaded. So I'm sure this is provoking gasps around the country. But I mean, again, to put this in perspective, I think everybody who's been following this very rough transition from Trump to Biden expected this to get bumpy, especially during the last couple of weeks of the Trump administration. I don't think many people expected this. But look, this was going to be ugly one way or another. And we're seeing what Trumpism really is. So I think people around the country, you know, as with so many things regarding Trump, most people, this is not going to change anybody's mind except perhaps a few. But if anybody was wondering, if Trump really were unleashed, what would his style of governing look like? And we're seeing it. What you see right now is the type of Trumpism President Trump has been calling for the last 4 years.
Certainly is. And there's a chaotic scene, as you can see on our screen right now.